Good afternoon, everyone, from the Melbourne Cricket Ground on Sports AFL. Welcome to the continuation of round 14. This afternoon, it's Melbourne versus Footscray. In the last few weeks, the D's have certainly come into a little bit of form after a bad start to the year. They've won 3 out of their last 4. Interestingly, as they make their first lap of the ground today against Footscray, Footscray won 4 out of their last 5 against Melbourne. But on the MCG, Footscray currently in a shocking run. They've lost their last 13 games. And so this afternoon, it does therefore come up as a big test for both coaches of Melbourne and Footscray.
In 2 states, on the same day, 2 men facing huge assignments. At the Whitten Oval, Terry Wallace, in his first game as coach of Footscray, in the wake of Alan Joyce's dramatic departure, faced the Eagles. And the former Hawthorn champ came mighty close to pulling off a huge upset. In Adelaide, Neil Baum and his injury-depleted Demons were facing the odds against the Crows. The former Norwood Premiership coach had enjoyed wins on Football Park before, but few as much as this 51-point victory. Today, Wallace and Baum meet head-on. One man hoping to win his first AFL game as coach, the other hoping to salvage a season.
Yes, it should be a pretty interesting situation between these two sides. There are 2 other matches also being played today to conclude round 14, and one of them is already in progress. It was a 1 o'clock start. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time, Sydney and Geelong, before a packed crowd at the SCG. And the other match starts a little bit later on this afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern time, Fremantle versus St Kilda. And at the conclusion of the Melbourne Footscray game, Melbourne viewers can switch to Channel 7 for a continuation of that. Brisbane and Sydney viewers will be joining that match later on during the course of the day. And a quarter time at the SCG, Sydney getting off to a good start after Geelong got the first goal. The Swannies leading 4-5-29, Geelong 2-1-13. The first change at the SCG. Don Scott's nosed his way in here after coming over on Ansett last night. Well, this morning, Don, from Adelaide. And a pretty good match there last night. This one, well, could be interesting.
Well, it could be, Peter. I don't know. I suppose Melbourne, they've got that winning thing going.
A bit more incentive?
Well, I don't know about the incentive side. I watched them in Brisbane. I thought they were fairly pathetic up there. But winning's a habit, and losing, and trouble for Footscray is the fact that they're losing. They're a good side on paper, but they're just losing. It's hard to get out of that.
They went close to West Coast last week in the mud and the bog at Whitten Oval. This afternoon, the ground's in a little bit better condition, and the Melbourne side strengthened by the return of Todd Viney, number 12. Great to see him back.
Yes, well, you just mentioned Viney coming in, also Lamprell coming into the side, and this side just hasn't performed early on in the season, and maybe their 3 out of the 4 wins may give them a little bit of a kick along, but it's not a bad side, the Melbourne side. As I said, I watched them in Brisbane. I thought they were rather pathetic that night, and really didn't give any. Well,
a yelp?
Well, not really, Peter. I didn't think they'd really go on, but it was a surprise last week against Adelaide to do what they did, and it was a great effort. So it could be interesting from their point of view.
Well, I saw that match last week, and they were fantastic after half-time. Trailed by 19 points early in the 3rd quarter, kicked 14 goals to 4 after half-time, and they really looked the goods. Now, Footscray, one interesting player in their side is, of course, number 13, Alan Jakovich.
Yes, well, he's coming back against their side, but he is a disappointment as far as Footscray are concerned. He's been reported, and he hasn't been fit. He hasn't been in there performing, but you just don't know with Jakovich. But I think it's about time he put his hand up to be counted. But coming into the side is Steve Kullenhoek, and he's number 2 at the head of the list there. Now, on paper, that is not a bad side, Footscray, and as I mentioned in the just prior to the Melbourne preview, losing's a habit, and it's very hard. Having been in that position, losing week after week, you just don't know what to do. And if you can click a win, well, you seem to go on. It's an interesting thing. You can do all the things that are right, but it just doesn't come on the ground. And they're in that position, the Footscray side. They're a good side, and maybe they got a couple together, they'd do all right.
OK, well, let's check the midfield, where most matches can be either won or lost, and some of the players that will certainly be a key. Clarkson was very, very good last week over at Footy Park.
Yeah, well, when I did the matchups, it was just interesting that, you know, when I looked at who was going to play and who, it just finished up that it was in the midfield. Tingay's been fantastic for Melbourne all this year.
Great game last week.
Well, he was also good in Brisbane, picked up a lot of possessions. And I think he'll go with Scott West, or Scott West will go with Tingay. They'll play in midfield. Clarkson and Ramiro. Now, Ramiro's had a job when he was at North Melbourne, a very offensive player, and really left a little bit to be desired in the way he approached the game. But this year he's been given a defensive role. He's been starting to play off players and also running with them. And Clarkson had the best and fairest been counted a couple of weeks ago for Melbourne, he would have definitely won. So I think Ramiro may go with Clarkson, and they're two former teammates, both at North Melbourne, so it'll be interesting. Viney, Liberatore, I don't think they'll necessarily pick up one another, but they're both very, very hard. They put their bodies in after the ball, and that'll be an interesting matchup.
Okay, thank you, Don. Weather this afternoon certainly a lot better than we had yesterday for the Richmond West Coast clash. We did get a few showers this morning, but the ground has come up fairly well. We'll be joining Dipper after the break. First quarter from the MCG. Wind gets the first tap away. Chance down there for Johnson. Obst, Cowell. And now Seacamp. Chain of hand passes, but it comes unstuck eventually. West kicks it back to Watts. He managed to fire out the hand pass. First goal will be handy for Footscray. Djakovic, great part. Oh, that could be a real team lifter.
The angle's a problem here, Peter, but Djakovic, having seen him on a couple of occasions, I think he may just go back and try and open up the face of goal. He's done the right thing by going back as far as he can. You can see he's right on the fence. Yes, he is going a little wide.
So Djakovic kicks it goal. Darcy nearly. Hargraves slung. Opportunity for the D's to get clear. The hand pass from Nettleback wasn't great. They might be able to make amends. Lovett dragged down by Ramiro. Now the Demons under a little bit of pressure early. Comes out towards centre wing. Pretiuk. A chance. Polly. He gets around him, but only just. Kicks the ball back towards the half-forward line. Liberatore and Cowell. Now they can bring it down, and Andrew Obst with the long hand pass. That's effective to Tingay.
Yes, Stephen Tingay. Bouncing through the centre square, right on the point of it. Wants to draw a player, does it very well to Polly, to Tingay. Ends up with Ingerson. This is great build-up from Melbourne. Goes in the Neitz direction. Great finish.
Neitz was brilliant last week at Footy Park.
Yes, he was. He really was the difference, Peter. He really gave him a lot of confidence up forward. And great sharing then from Melbourne. And Stephen Tingay coming really back to some terrific form. So Neitz will kick from 45, probably on about a 60-degree angle. The ball's starting to bend back a bit. Has it come back enough? I don't think so. So first score of the match to Melbourne and to David Neitz.
He's just missed a lot of the crowd, in fact, thinking it was a goal, but the goal umpire gave the correct decision. So one behind, 1 point. Bright sunshine at the MCG. After we had those persistent rain showers and the lights on yesterday for the clash between the Eagles and Richmond. Two Brownlow medalists go for it. Steins at the back, couldn't bring it down. Obst. Hopgood on his own. Clear of his opposite, number 15, and Wind. Clarkson takes the mark. Again, a good player for Melbourne last week. I nearly said North Melbourne. Of course, he came from North. Played 93 games with the Roos. Out of his 107 so far. Should get the distance, Alistair Clarkson. Again, accuracy. We'll wait on. From 45 metres. Neitz one-handed, nearly, and rushed through for a behind. So second score of the match, a rush behind to Melbourne, and the D's leading by 2 points. He's so very close, David Neitz, to drag that one down. No real wind advantage. Probably a breeze from the west, but of course it does swirl a lot here at the MCG. Again, the two Brownlow medalists, Steins and Wine, do battle. Ball hits the deck, taken away by Kellett.
Kellett's wobbly kick goes out towards the boundary line. First there, Smith, but he can't gather it in before the boundary line, and a boundary throw in. Almost right on centre wing. So Steins and Wine. We'll see this a lot of times today. Jimmy does it well. Taps it forward. Gives his players a chance to run at him. Pretiuk was good in tight. Unloaded it. And Footscray just with numbers here, and Kellett running onto it. There's a bit of space for him to work in. Stays off Cowell, then goes with the left foot and has missed. So the first score to Footscray. So the margin just 1 point to the Demons.
Good work by Johnson at midfield to get the ball to Kellett. Both good runners. Smith, well, he's been able to turn it on at fullback now, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Been good.
Tingay. in good form likewise for the D's. Mark taken by Craig Turley. Turley looks for a lead further afield. Finds Nettlebeck close to the boundary line. Demons playing a possession game at the moment. Well, I was going to say doing it well, but it comes to Uze. They had a couple of options there. Uze's target is Steins. Farmer's got pace to burn. Just couldn't quite gather in the football. Tackled by Steins. Farmer tries to have a second
it's
dip.
a free kick, Pete.
Wirra, I think, is going to take it. It may be Kellett. It's going to the former.
He's hurt himself, Grant, too. Steins went down on top of him and he's hurt his shoulder.
Punch by Ingerson.
And he's favouring the right shoulder. There he is, Chris Grant.
That'd be a blow.
Yes, it doesn't look too good.
Well, it might be just a bit of a bruise. We'll see what happens. Dipper will keep his eye on that.
Good to see the umpires ping that. We saw that last night in Adelaide, a lot of holding on, but the umpires are aware and against Steins.
Wind to West. Best and fairest winner. West's kick is short. And as such, badly directed. Lovett chops it off nicely onto Cow. Back to Lovett. They're sharing it around the D's. Over the head of Glenn Lovett. But Clarkson's there to back up. His kick bounces, or not bounces, it gets to Johnson, who takes the mark on centre wing.
Young Brad Johnson looks in towards centre half forward now. 50 metres out, this ball will land. Lovett does the spoil. Smith goes off the ground, falls to Kellett. He's got pace. He can actually go for goal. 60 metres out. Doesn't quite hit it right. Jakovic really ran himself under the footy when he perhaps should have taken it. And Seacamp bounces his way out of defence. Now comes to the 50-metre line, chips it to Smith. Smith does put up one hand and takes a very good mark. Shaun Smith kicks, really gives the ball away to Wallace. So breaks down across the wing for Melbourne to Grant. Looks okay at the moment.
Yep.
Very long and high. Players go out. Wine was good. Love it in underneath, and a bounce will take place. 55 metres from goal.
And Dipper has some news on Chris Grant. He looks all right, Dip.
He's okay, but I just checked with the physio, and he just said, as Don said, just a bruised shoulder there.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. We saw the tangle on screen there, so if they lost him, their chances of winning this match, you would think, would take a fair nosedive. Johnson and Tingay. Little paddle out to Liberatore, nearly effective. Picked up by Peter Quill. Oh, that's a fine mark to Hargraves. Great grab. Terrific mark.
They've played him as centre half forward. I just don't think he's quite mature enough. He's got the ability to play in that position, but he's just not quite mature enough to handle the pressure that really comes at centre half forward. He's playing in the pocket today, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off when you're playing in a position such as a pocket.
Yeah, against that, Don, I saw him move to centre half forward after playing at full forward against the Eagles a couple of seasons back. He turned it a ripper quarter, and that's a ripper kick. That's a goal. So Danny Hargraves gets the first goal of the match. A fine kick. Jakovic took a mark there, similar spot earlier, and he learned off that, like watching your opponent putt at golf.
That was interesting. We just had a quick shot of Hargraves in screen, and as the Melbourne player went by, just put the elbow out. But that just shows ability. I haven't seen him play a good game, but to play at centre forward, he must have ability. But he showed something then, which did impress.
First score on the board, Footscray. Wine goes early. Steins holds his ground and pushes it down. Obst works hard in underneath. And another bounce. Andrew Obst, now in the veteran stage, been a very good player for Melbourne.
Been an excellent pickup from South Australia. There's not too many good players come from South Australia, Malcolm.
No, but he came from Port Adelaide, so that probably makes it okay.
Probably, yeah, that's the reason why he's good.
Steins with the left hand. It's in fact Wine to Cow. Just swirls around and then unloads to Phoebe. That's good. Good finish. He's off. And this will break down, you would think. Ingerson pushed underneath the ball by Wallace. Grant tidies it up and then gives it away, unbelievably, to Uze. So a boundary throw-in. Chris Grant playing at the back. Played there most of the year.
Wearing a famous number 3 too.
Yes, indeed. Ingerson down to Polly. Just thumps the ball forward. Wirra comes across in front of Neitz and cuts it out with a very good mark.
Brad Wirra, who played one game with Fremantle.
And has done particularly well at Footscray.
Yes, he slotted nicely into that back pocket. Comes straight up the ground with the kick. Again, the two Brownlow medalists duel. They didn't bring it down. Cowell to Clarkson. Two of their informed players at the moment. Uze gets a chance to rove the pack well. Phoebe provides a shepherd. Funny old kick. Farmer nearly legged. Back to Polly. Chance for Uze. Kicks out of the man on the mark. It was Dimartino. Now, did he kick it out in the full? No, it was already out.
Just a little slow in getting it on Uze on that occasion, plus the fact he was a left footer. Had he been a right footer, Dimartino might not have just got across.
It's in Melbourne's right forward pocket. Plenty of numbers there. Polly was there. Phoebe a chance. Kick wide of Neitz. It beats Southern likewise over the line, and this time a throw-in will take place right next to the behind post. One of the characters of the competition, Danny Southern. Looks rather fearsome, but a gentle giant. Not too much joy there in the weather. This is about as good as it gets today. Ingerson taps down. Couldn't find a teammate. Quill applies a tackle on Farmer. End result of all, there's going to be a bounce. Something they couldn't do yesterday in the remaining 3 quarters here at the MCG with the heavy rain. But this ground has come up really well. We had a under-18s match here earlier in the day, and it does look a treat.
Oh!
Kicked away there by Crediuk. Is out of bounds on the full, and well marked by one of the training staff.
Well, it was deliberate too. That was an unbelievable kick.
Adam Uze starting to develop. Been an Orange Rising Star nomination winner this year already. Really was not a good kick at all, because it really gave the forwards no chance. Even though they've marked the footy, Brad Johnson, it would have been punched over the line anyhow. Really didn't put that in the right spot. Oh, that's a contest. Surely not. Quill ends up with it. So Footscray keep the footy, but the ball is smothered.
Why not a free kick, Malcolm?
Well, I'd have to agree with you, Don. In fact, it looked to me as though he was held from behind. They'll go at it again. This time Wine puts his hands in the air and says, well, I'm not going to grab hold of him. And they don't, so that's an honest jump. Libba quickly onto the boot. Just really wobbles it forward. Darcy trying to control it. Kept it in play. That's kept the ball alive. Cowell overruns it. In fact, hits his leg and then runs it out. Darren Cowell now 66 games. Western Australian. So boundary throw in right on 50-metre line. Bulldogs into attack. That's surely got to be holding, pushing, doing something. Jimmy's not happy.
That's great to see, actually.
Wine gives it straight off to Ramiro. Kicks into Djakovic's direction. Smith right there. Falls to Libba. Under pressure from Obst was terrific. Good stuff at the back. Kellett wants some time, space. In fact, it's Watts. Kicks out to Smith, and he marks just outside 50. So Rowan Smith playing up forward, playing on Glenn Lovett.
Might be a bit quick for Lovett.
On the run, he's a very long kick. This is probably not the momentum. It's a beautiful kick, though. That's almost there. No, that is lovely. Second goal to the Doggies.
Enthusiastic player who had a good season last year, Rowan Smith. That's the Bulldogs' second goal. A rather indiscriminate kick from Kellett. Unfortunately, that for Smith, who is in the right position. Now here's the free kick. It's against Jim. It's good to see the umpire start to pay some of these rucking infringements. But from there, a missed kick, and Smith finished up, and that was an excellent kick from goal for goal.
So Footscray getting the first 2 goals on the board. The difference is 11 points in favour of the Dogs. Tingay from a standing start at midfield, kicks to half forward. That's as far as it's going. Mark taken by Grant. Wallace giving him directions where to kick it. Wallace, a former captain, of course. And the kick's landing well round about centre wing position. Nigel Kellett. He'll try to centre it. Melbourne with the numbers. There's no mark taken there. Steins mops up. Oh, good tackle down there by Crediuk. The umpire has blown the whistle. Cowell will take the free kick. Interesting one. So Melbourne with the free. Uze just nudged out of it. Farmer a chance to pick it up. Johnson's with him. The umpires with both of them. It will be a bounce.
A little bit of aggro in the game.
Good to see, Don. You'd like that.
No, Peter.
So Steins and Wine. Oh, Phoebe collared twice. Dimittina got him the second time, and that was the free kick. And players going everywhere. Phoebe goes back for his kick. A little pass down to Tingay. Barely the required distance for a mark.
Smith at centre half forward. He's there.
Turley goes long. Southern. It might be over the line though, so one behind.
But they're prepared to run the Melbourne backs. I saw Nettlebeck go right down into the forward pocket with his man chasing off for a lead, and also Smith on that occasion was at centre half forward as they went into attack. Melbourne.
Brad Wirra to kick in again. The difference is 10 points. Melbourne goal so far in the first quarter. Ingerson at the back. Footscray with the numbers, and the Dogs running. This is Dimittina. He played reserves football for 3 clubs. Long bomb, Hargraves underneath it. Jakovic a chance, snaps! And kicks a beauty! Great goal! And a little bit of aggro down there as well. Jakovic against his own side, and it's 3-1 to 3 behinds. For a minute there, I thought there might have almost been another kick. The umpire came in to have a few words.
And Jakovic normally goes onto his left foot in these situations and snaps back over the right shoulder, but on this occasion, right foot, left shoulder. An excellent kick. You can see there Smith right on his hammer.
Amazing game footy. Turley really had a soda shot and missed, and quick transference of play, and the difference is now 16 points. Kellett works his way into trouble then and really didn't do a lot with the footy, and I'm sure earlier in the season that would have been a free kick against him. John Harvey. Just a bounce of the game. Really just work around each other, the big fellas. To Turley. It's a good sign. We're really handballing lots of people in pressure. They get out of it. There was enough of them there to help. Lovett kicks and kicks.
That was excellent, wasn't it? And good running too by Lovett and Melbourne.
Yes, I'm not sure that the first handball was all that necessary, and you know, if just someone gets half a nail on it or something.
Just though, from a player's point of view, it must be disconcerting because the centre square is very hard, yet you've got the inconsistency around the ground being soft, and gee, it must be hard as far as the footwork goes, especially if you're playing in the square.
Ingerson, it's an awkward kick. And really waste again from Melbourne. They get their 4th point, but that is not enough at the moment, and they'll trail by 15.
Yes, 4 shots at goal that could have been easily 4 goals. So 15 points the difference, 4 behinds to 3-1. Wirra, the designated kicker. Grant, the target. Couldn't bring it down. Hopgood, well tackled. The 2 number 15s tangle there. And umpire Rowan Saws has decided it's my ball. Good tackle by Wine. It gets front posse from Steins, has a ping at the footy, but Steins comes up with it. A little kick. A generous statistician may give him something for that. And again, Rowan Saws will bounce it.
See, Melbourne already, Peter, had 55 possessions to Footscray's 31.
And they trail by, what, 15 points. Let's see if they can do something with this Turley kick. Down to Neitz! Oh, good mark. Surely this time for the D's.
That mark was a stamp of class.
And a real Royce Hart job, that one. Terrific leap, strong hands. Conversion needed here, though, from Neitz. And the crowd's just seated on the big scoreboard again, and a second cheer for him. But his concentration is elsewhere. For Melbourne's first goal, they need one. Trailing by 15. 30 metres out, directly in front. He kicks and he goes.
No, that was excellent. Excellent the way he came out, because the opponent, you've also got to take into account the opponent that is on him, and it's Danny Southern, and it wouldn't be easy to do because Southern is a close checking fellow. And here's Neitz, good leap, look at that, and the ball out in front, and you couldn't go crook at Southern because he tried desperately. but he was just outclassed on that occasion.
He wasn't far behind him, Don.
Back in the middle. Footscray by 9 points. Steins goes to the thump. Good hands inside to Turley. Really has kicked that very wide. And a great mark by Ingerson. High on the chest. Went a bit early.
Let's hope he kicks better than last time, Malcolm.
Yes, I just doesn't get a lot of momentum with his kicking, and he really is apt to kick it off.
Oh.
Back into the centre. Able to mark it. Nettlebet working hard. Southern to Ramiro. And Johnson's there also to help out. So the Bulldogs can get away with this with a good kick. Goes in the Darcy direction. Lets it run by him. Pretty good play in the end and out of bounds.
He just got no penetration, Ingerson, with his kicking, has he?
I don't think he's got any confidence either after that kick.
Well, I think he was trying to give it to Neitz. Neitz was on the lead, but boy.
It's a long way from it, wasn't it?
Wow.
Just over 4.5 minutes remain. First quarter. Footscray by 9 points. Steins over the back. Ramiro tries to go off the ground. And Obst, as he so often is, buries it centre wing. So right on the sign. Down again. Two big fellas go at it. Dimatina, Phoebe, terrific, good stuff. Stands up, Uze just fumbled it, put himself under a bit of pressure with that little fumble, and another boundary throw in.
Getting close to quarter time. 3-1 to 1-4. Difference is 9 points in favour of Footscray, who have lost their last 13 matches on the MCG. The last side they beat here was Melbourne a few seasons back now. This is Hopgood. Looks for the hand pass going past Obst. Kick straight into Wind it was. He'll go again. And the mark, has it been paid? Yes, it has, to Polly. Target is Neitz. 3 Footscray players on him down there, and the Bulldogs should be able to clear this. Ramiro just a little bit too slow. Took it too casually. Farmer's tackle, arguably high. And that's how the umpire has seen it. So free kick to Footscray. It will go to West. Crunch. Now play continues. It's upfield, but Obst has taken the mark again. He's got in short. Oh, Turley missed it. West again.
Kellett coming, I think.
Dimatina gives it back to his teammate in Cretiuk. Gee, they're making a meal of trying to do something with this. Kellett. It's out of bounds. Is it? Yes. Boundary umpire finally. So some decorum will come into play over there on the outer side. Almost panic stations, wasn't it? So these two will continue their battle, Steins and Wind. We'll be saying that a bit this afternoon. Steins arguably that one. Now it's Polly. Neitz. Oh, strong hands. And again, Danny Southern right with him, but he wasn't able to do much. Knock the ball away or knock his arms.
Again, he jumped just a fraction early and more or less took it as a chest mark and took it out in front. Again, a good mark.
David Neitz has kicked 1 goal, 1. Closer in this time from 20 metres out. He kicks and goals. He's got 2 for the quarter. And continuing on the form he displayed at Footy Park last week, reducing the deficit to 3 points.
Another excellent mark. And again, I wouldn't be going crooked Southern. Just the ability of Neitz.
Yes, the game tightens up. And you'd expect a pretty even contest from these two sides. Sitting 14th and 15th on the ladder. Steins thumps it. Now, Cretiuk's there to support, and then goes very wide with the kick. It really is a nothing spot. Lovett does well. Polly's getting some touches, the youngster, to Nettlebet. Turley shares it back to Polly. He's really under pressure now. Phoebe had to stand his ground and did it pretty well. Soccer off the ground. as Lovett just goes about to put his hand on the footy.
Yes, that's a bad part of our game at the moment. It's been let go by the umpires. Is kicking in danger just as a player's about to put his hands on the ball.
Boundary throwing, 50-metre line there. Down to the last 2 minutes, the first quarter. Darcy this time with Steins. Pushes it back towards goal, Steins. And there's enough players there to keep that up again.
A friendly banter between Lovett and Liberatore. Experienced players, both. There's the angry man, Alistair Clarkson. Probably played against one another in the with one another in the under-19s at North.
Steins goes towards the boundary, and that's pretty sufficient there for Melbourne. Only 50 metres away. A nice even touch here, a good touch.
There's Ramiro. Clarkson, we all remember him in London a few years ago.
That's a push and that's a free kick. Quite right. It's a high tackle. And all the umpire has to do if he sees that, pay the first one, and all that rot just stops.
Well, Clarkson can't let up, can he?
Big kick. Front of the square. Hargraves almost got two hands on that. Johnson caught. Great tackle from Steins. Polly, Obst and Lovett share it. They get this run going, Melbourne. Look good when they do that. Hopgood's kick is very ordinary and falls to Grant.
Chris Grant at centre half back. I dare say they'd still have to play him at centre half forward. The option there. This man will kick it up in that direction. Cavett nearly caught. Brushes the tackle. He and Smith probably the fastest on the Footscray side. Hargraves in front. Wind at the back. Seacamp does well. Turley. Oh, Obst, is he inside the line? I'll watch the boundary umpire. He says OK. Andrew Obst. Played in 2 premiership sides with Port Adelaide. Hopgood. Clock ticks down. We've got about half a minute before quarter time, so the D's would want to get a rattle on here, but again, a wayward kick and an easy mark in the end taken by Chris Grant. That shoulder seems to be OK. If you've just joined us, he got a heavy knock earlier in the term. The physio was out to him, but it does seem all right. And it's a good mark to Tingay. He took a beauty, was given mark of the week on Sports World today. With that grab last week at Footy Park. Ramiro a fumble, tackle by Phoebe. There's the siren. A pretty interesting first quarter as it turned out. Footscray got away early, and Melbourne, through the agency of Neitz up at full forward with their only goals for the term, came back well. Jakovic kicked a good one and took a good mark. So all in all, not a bad term. And the bell has gone, boys. Nothing after the siren, please. So Alistair Clarkson been given some advice to cool down, and they will go to their respective camps. Jose Ramiro wants to get the last word. I think he might have just done that. No, he hasn't. It's a split decision. On the scoreboard, it's pretty even, with Footscray leading 3-1-19, Melbourne 2-4-16 at the MCG. One straight to Ramiro, straight to Liberatore, then on to West. West straight down the centre of the ground. Marking contest, none can take it. Phoebe chops it off well, gets it back to Cowell. Cowell from right half back, measures the kick up towards centre wing. Good mark taken by Peter Quill, who can kick long and does towards the 50-metre line. Punched away by Watts. Darcy goes off the ground, kicks it some 25 metres. Smith tackled by Watts, brushes that aside. He's in fine form at fullback. A great move. Ingerson and Wind. And the umpire has decided it's going to be a free kick.
Smith not the same player as White, but very similar. That's Shaun White that used to play fullback for Melbourne.
Steins to Obst. Up towards full forward. Kellett reads it best and goes for a good long clearing kick to midfield.
Lovett comes over the top. Dimartina's there right with him. Stops, slips over. Now has plenty of time to get up. Make 4 decisions then in a second. Sends off Smith. Smith comes back across the goal. That's a great kick to Hargraves. Oh, not one Melbourne player went at Dimartina on the ground, and it really did create confusion. And the ball's ended up with Smith and now Hargraves. So Daniel Hargraves actually played all right against the Eagles last week, Don. I think he kicked 3 goals in that wet day at the Whitten Oval.
Well, he's got his chance for his second.
Yes, in fact, he's kicked 20 goals for the season, so in his 9th game. So it's a pretty good strike rate. Nearly 2 goals a game he's kicked, so it's not bad.
Good junior cricketer with Coldstream, this man. Coldstream just on the outskirts of...
Oh, it slips as he kicks. It's touched. Surely rushed through. What a disappointing. Just seeing his foot just slipped underneath as he kicked.
And here it is. Plenty of time there for Diamantina to get up. The handball set up. And you could look at the Smith as he looked down the field to see what was offering. It was a good camera shot.
It certainly deserved better, didn't it? Taken by Nettlebeck. Nettlebeck at right half back. Player on his own is Steve Tingay. Made position well. He's gone for a short pass. Intended for Turley. Chopped off by Grant. Grant long bomb. Kicks it back towards midfield. Kellett and Phoebe both lost sight of the footy. Kellett recovers better. Gets a hand pass away. Wind on the end of it. Liberatore. 2 Brownlow medalists combining. Libba's kick down towards left half forward. Hargraves again. Just, I think, inside the boundary. OK. This time he doesn't slip, nor that he's have a shot at goal. That's much better. Johnson's marked it. Quite elusive, Johnson. Not a bad kick as a rule. This will test him.
Cullenhook coming on to Peter for Footscray.
Brad Johnson from 30 metres out, pretty acute angle, and he has missed. And only one behind of the Bulldogs, who again doing the early scoring in the quarter as they did in the first term. And Footscray go to 3-3, Melbourne 2-4. So the difference is 5 points, and Smith again to kick in.
Shaun Smith goes wide to Seacamp. It's an excellent kick. It's always the pity, isn't it, watching Shaun Smith play at the back. He has to punch now with those big jumps. And we're so used to him with those great marks. Wonderful little set play Melbourne have got here. They've got to this stage twice. Last time Tingay gave it up with a poor kick. This time goes long. Neitz direction, but terrific muck in front by Wirra. Stood his ground beautifully. Off to Quill. Here's Johnson. Has covered some territory, as Peter said. Really loves to run with the footy. Looks as though he has an enthusiasm for the game. Kicks it back inside, and Shaun Smith...
Good chasing by Uze
would stand his ground.
Lovett across the ground. Again to Nettlebeck with the gloves on today. One bounce from right half back. Looks for a pass. Gets one. Gets a mark. Jim Steins. His opponent being whistled back on the mark. Wine. Glenn Lovett might be a little bit too high. He'll take a free kick.
I'd have to agree with you, Don. 50-50s like that going 10 metres just don't make any sense.
Former best and fairest winner at Melbourne. Steins again had moved well downfield for the next contest and takes the mark. Had a great match last week. Jimmy Steins was in the votes for our Sports World Award. Kicks it up towards full forward. Neitz was his target. And the Footscray defence able to chop it off. So a bounce 35 metres out from the Melbourne goal. Goals hard to come by. Footscray 3-3, Melbourne 2-4. So just 2 behind scored in this quarter. Farmer, elusive. If he can get a kick in, he does. It's going to bounce out of bounds. Yes, it takes a right-hand turn in front of Wallace and Uze, and we'll see a boundary throw. Only 5 metres from the behind post in Melbourne's right forward pocket. And the D is still with just the one goal kicker, and that's David Neitz, who has 2 goals, 1 against his name. So the throw in right in front of goal. Big fly by Neitz. Clarkson tries to pick it up. Tackle, I think it's Wirra who goes to ground, and the umpire will bounce it.
25 metres from goal. Adam Uze, last up. It's a nice bounce too, very high. Terrific. Great tap down to Wirra. West wanted to use a teammate, then had to run with it. Sets up Smith a bit. Lovett comes over the top. Nettlebeck wants support inside, gets it. Steins to Lovett. They come this side, they're right again. Working in not much space is Turley. Kicks the ball forward. Oh, Neitz comes hard. He absolutely come very hard then. And Polly pushed off the ball and over the line.
Well, he came out earlier, but he let Wirra off and showed the good nature of, here he is, Neitz. Eyes only for the ball, but he could have fixed up Wirra earlier when Wirra courageously stood his ground.
Ingerson tries to go over the top. That's intelligent play. Good pressure there from Melbourne, just to force the kick forward. Footscray ball. Oh, Kellett taps it over.
It's definitely deliberate.
Well, we've seen worse paid, haven't we?
Yeah, it's right in front of the members. They didn't like it. The Melbourne people there certainly didn't like it. Both players go to ground, and in fact, Steins being in front, that's probably fair enough too, Dom.
No, it's great to see, Malcolm. Just great to see. I congratulate the umpires today on this, endeavouring to clean up these ruck contests.
Well, I think Tingo's got the mark there. It's certainly not Ramiro's, and umpire John Harvey might come in and make a liar of me. Let's see what he does with this. No mark. It's a bounce right on 50. In pleasant sunshine. Wine wins that one away from his arch rival. Not very far, certainly. And with 13.5 minutes left in the quarter, it will be another ball up. 3-3 to 2-4, just the 5 goals kicked so far, and none in this quarter. Melbourne yet to score in the term. Obst does the ruck work. Farmer runs into trouble. Now a chance. Obst into an open goal, 5 metres out, and kicks a goal.
A real scramble there after that bounce down. Obst went for the punch when Steins and Wine were contesting for the ball up. An awkward looking fist to it, and you can see Farmer, very confident individual. Oh, excuse me. Is that an attempted strike? Is there such a thing?
Yes.
Back in the centre. The Melbourne back in front now by a point, as they were at the start of the game. They got the first point of the game, so Clarkson forces the ball forward, and Wallace reads that beautifully as it floats over Ingerson's head. Comes out wide and has Curley. Curley off to Kellett. He really does run. Jakovic at the back, got it. Sure, that's a mark. He'll be paid that. He had a fair bit of that, Alan Jakovic. Now, we've known him to be capable of miraculous things. You've seen him run out to bananas, kick it on his left foot, try and run around the man on the mark. Just wonder what's going through his mind right now.
I think a left foot, there it is.
There it is, left foot. And we'll just go across the face of goals, and only a point. But that's confidence in your skills. And
well, he's got a lot of that, hasn't he? A lot of skill. You can see that. That's a left foot kick, but he's normally a right footer.
And the scores are level.
Scores dead level in the second quarter as we approach the halfway mark of the term. Phoebe takes the mark. Obst onto Lovett. Lovett's kick. Oh, gee, Turley copped one there in that marking contest. Ball down to Tingay and Grant. It's out of bounds. Umpire says throw it in. So a good contest. Scores level. Probably not the most skillful match we've seen, but it's pretty tough out there in the clinches. It has been from the first siren. Indeed before. Wind and Steins. One by Wine at the back. Good bump by Farmer. And Tingay goes in pretty solidly down there. Farmer gets up on Dimatina. Dimatina's got the free kick.
And that's fair enough. Break the play up.
Dimatina out.
And now Krudiouk, he swung one earlier, now he's given it to Polly. Well, that's good umpiring.
And it is too. Rowan Saw's doing a great job here. You can't grab people by the throat and reverse the decision. I think that's smart umpiring. Mellies need not occur, Don.
Well, I mean, that's exactly right. If the umpire's on the job, and which he is doing, this is the way you do it. Just pay a free kick. They'll soon clean up their act, the players.
Well, there's been a bit of niggling going on. Polly's kick to half forward. Marking contest, none can bring it down. Off the ground, Smith! Oh, he's kicked it! Sensational stuff! He came from the clouds.
Well, I'm just seeing, Peter, he's going back to full back. Now, that really puts the pressure on Alan Jakovic. In fact, Alan Jakovic was down there. Now, Melbourne have made a change. They've got young Farmer off the ground, maybe a disciplinary thing. And Viney coming on. That was good play by Smith, going way down into the full forward line. We saw Nettlebeck do it earlier, and also Smith. That's the second occasion I've seen him deep in the forward line. Wearing Hassaman's old number, 29.
Amazing stuff. The full forward and the full back have both got a goal each. Pretty square, really. Steins comes hard, so does Tingate, doesn't get hold of it. Don's mentioned that centre square area pretty hard. The ball does bounce awkwardly sometimes. Players in over the top of it. That is holding on, and that is a free kick to Crediok against Tingate. Steve McBurney right there. Plays on. Oh, misses the target. Oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible turnover. Almost could pay here. Lovett. Uze will run onto it. Southern comes hard at it. That was well done. Neitz on hands and knees. Oh, brilliant stuff. Snap, turns, and has just missed. So David Neitz, 2 goals, 2. And Melbourne now push that out to 7 points, that lead.
So the game's warmed up a little bit. Wirra decides to go for a run. Wind in front of Lovett. Smith, good long hand pass on the end of it. Liberatore gets it back to the running Smith at midfield. Terrible kick off the boot. Obst, hard one to mark just the same. Jakovic, will he go off the ground? Didn't get a chance to do it. Smith gives away the hand pass at both ends of the ground. He's starring. Now Lovett, Glenn Lovett, onto Nettlebeck. Melbourne, you would think, playing with a lot of confidence now. They've really got something going. They bring it around the member stand again. That's Clarkson. He gets it onto Phoebe. Will he give it back to Clarkson? No, he won't. Liberatore, great tackle, Liber. Another Brownlow medalist. Winder's got it. Onto Kellett. Off one step. Kellett up towards Jakovic. Punch away by Smith. Fantastic stuff. And the members really love that.
That's not the way to deliver it to Jakovic, because Jakovic can't get off the ground, and you can see there's Smith, who is a real spring-heel Jack. Look how far he's up to punch that ball.
Had a great comeback after a broken arm. Wine at the back. Quill Steins clobbered him. Now a chance for Curley. Smith again beats Jakovic. Seacamp gets it over to Obst. Nettlebeck, yes, no, missed it. Steins, you're caught. Hand pass back to Nettlebeck. Wine comes at him. Hargraves a chance if he can pick it up. Looks for the hand pass. Liberatore needs to be quick. One behind. Kick by little Libber. So the game moving up a gear or 3. One behind makes the difference. 1 goal.
Always amazed why players want a handball to bloke standing still, because they get under a bit of pressure. It really does make for an ordinary game of football. Smith is good to Hopgood. Now Cow can run. Has Steins here. It's a contest though. Wine somewhere near him. And does very well to get it over the line. Boundary throw in. Twin wing and half forward. Slightly in Footscray's attacking zone. Just under 9 minutes to go of the second quarter. Steins works his way to the front, down to Clarkson. Caught, held on to by Liberatore. No free kick.
Oh,
here's Fairby. That's another blue he's made. He's overrun that one too. Made an ordinary decision before with the handle. Goes to Smith, and the ball will come back, and a free kick will go to him. And now Polly remonstrating with the umpire. But son, just get your hands in the air and stand the mark. Kicks. Hargraves underneath it. Smith playing beautifully at the back. Runs away. Jakovic 40 metres, nowhere near him, and kicks high.
He's already kicked a goal. Oh, 2 Footscray players nearly collided. Wallace took the mark. He'll get it to Ramiro. Onto West. West from half-back. Hunter just gets his kick in. Intended for Curley. Hopgood. Uze is quick and will need to be. Wallace did well. Back to Wirra. Dibattina. Across his body. Grant. Oh, missed it. Chance for Hopgood in the end. Cow, how did he get that? Ingerson had the fly. Lovett looking for options. Will he have a ping at the goals? He does. He turns around but misses. And Brett Lovett kicking just one behind. His first score of the day. 4-6 to 4-5. 4-6 to 3-5. 7 points the difference. Todd Viney, you can see, or did see there in the foreground. Number 12. Used to get a touch. He only came on about 5 minutes ago. Great to see him back in the side. Wirra kicks in and goes long.
A lovely long kick too. Big pack of players. Just trying to get the numbers around Wine. They do it pretty well this time to Hunter, and just really just tumbles it forward to Cowell. Darren Cowell, in wing and half back, comes across the ground. Clarkson, good hands. Here's Phoebe. He can make a decision with his kick this time. Neitz with a set. Too easy.
Isn't he an exceptional mark, David Neitz?
Good day from Phoebe. Just made a couple of blue shows. Really, he's butted up well there.
Yeah, but that's this ball. I'm sorry. This ball really not delivered in the right way, in as much as it's gone to an opponent. But Neitz has come over the back. Just watch there.
He was always going to jump, wasn't he?
Newsday off. And coming on for Melbourne is O'Brien.
So David Neitz from 30 metres kicks. Goal umpire has a move. Third goal. They lead by 13 points.
Isn't it funny, you watch players in many games of football and you see players who've got reputations, but you never see them play a good game. And Neitz, as far as that goes, falls into that category as far as I'm concerned. But today, I've seen some real ability shown by Neitz. He's a very good player. And Djakovic coming off and Darcy on.
Darcy on for Djakovic, and Footscray needing something to happen. They got a good start, but Melbourne coming right back at them. Steins' kick, Ingerson just couldn't quite get up. Clever knock on. Down to Neitz again. Farms it out. O'Brien just on the ground and has kicked it. Well, coaches can be geniuses sometimes.
See, the genius then of Neitz to pick it up and give it was unbelievable.
It was very, very clever, and O'Brien was on the end of it.
Well, what I'm interested in seeing is this next bounce down, because what happened in the last one was that Steins really did jump in with a knee into Wine, responsible for getting the ball forward. And there's a thing of it with ruckman, you don't do that type of thing. And Wine, I wonder whether he's going to come back this time. Be interesting to see. He's changed his angle.
Melbourne 4 goals this quarter. Footscray yet to get one. And really just starting to push that margin out. Lovett caught and under pressure and bounced.
It was you and Gary Dempsey, Scotty, wasn't it, that had the line drawn across the centre after your goings on?
No, not me, Peter.
Essentially, Peter Moore and Gary
Yes,
Dempsey.
I was a jumper, Peter, a skillful player.
Yes. Obviously, dreams are part of your life, Don. Another bounce.
Take a look
and
at
here
that
it is.
kick.
Look at Steins get up. Oh, I tell you, they hurt.
Yes, great jump. 19 points. Steins went to hold on then. Remember the rule. Phoebe won another 50-50 ball. Turley. Oh, why wouldn't you go somewhere towards Neitz? There's been a free kick off the ball, and it'll come back to Ramiro. Polly puts his hands up in despair, but John Harvey, I think, saw that one clearly. Ramiro pushing and shoving. Runs on to Collingwood. Really did fumble it. Hunter sets up Curley. He's found a gap. Goes across in the Darcy direction. Lost it in the sun. Neitz does, Smith I should say, does very well again. And he really is playing some game again at full back.
He was in the votes last week at Footy Park and probably under consideration already today, capping off his work with a great goal off the ground at the other end in this quarter. And I remember Gary Lyon saying a couple of weeks back that he was so glad that Shaun Smith was at the other end of the ground because he wasn't getting his knees around his ears during the course of a match. Lovett gives it away to Smith. Man of the moment, certainly of the quarter. That one smothered. He might get another go at it. He does. Seacamp on the end of the hand pass. Libber. If you can brush one of his tackles, you're doing well. Well, they are doing well, the D's. They've been running it out of defence right throughout the game. Clarkson's kick up towards half forward. Lovett missed it or couldn't take the mark. Turley a chance. Roves the pack well. Chips it in short. Too long for Hopgood, in fact, the way it turned out. And the ball taken over the line by Steve Credihook.
Tom, did you see that off the footy then? With Viney running straight through Wine?
Yeah, I was just going to see what Wine did, but Wine just trotted down.
He got him a beauty, though.
It's a boundary throw in, 40 metres from goal. It's 40 metres from Melbourne's attacking goal. Ingerson from behind. Hunter. Turley taken down in that tackle. And this time by Polly, seeing it over the boundary line. 50 metres from goal plus now. As the clock ticks down to half-time, under 4 minutes remaining to the main break. Farmer coming back on for the D's. Hopgood off. So Neil Barm swinging a few changes. He brought O'Brien on moments. Oh, too high on Grant. Don't think any argument about that from the Melbourne supporters. Grant at left half back. Footscray needing a goal badly. They trail 6-6 to 3-5. Marking contest on centre wing. Curley taps forward. Ramiro. Might have been held too long in the tackle. Hargraves down with Seacamp. Glenn Lovett. Quick hand pass. Nettlebeck to Steins. Missed the target. Liberatore. Caught. Curley. You've got Curley and Turley. Hope they don't get too near the footy at the same time. Now, Melbourne through Tingay. Wallace missed it. Might get a second ping at it, the former captain. Brushes one tackle, did well, the veteran. Up towards Quill. One balk. Might have been one balk too many. Wind on the end of the hand pass. Liberatore still running. So has Tingay got him. End result, the kick wasn't too good to Hargraves. Smith again. Ramiro looks for the free kick. Turley putting plenty of pressure on him. It's out of bounds. 60 metres from Footscray's goal at left half forward, and the Doggies badly need one before the break.
Shaun Smith with 11 touches at full back. They're on ball stats right now, and almost been the difference between the sides. Djokovic got the one goal. So did he. Putting a sensational quarter. Steins and Wine. They'll go forward, falls back to Wine, tries to kick it. Collinock with a clever handball inside if there's a player there.
Oh,
Turley ridden to the ground by Clarkson. Obst has been very good off to Lovett. Open spaces here, bounce here for Wirra. He's got it. Lovett puts him under pressure. Farmer dashes through. He has caused some problems with his pace. Lovett back. Caught beautifully. Absolutely caught. Chris Grant on Phoebe.
That'll be plumb. Even Dickie Bird would give that out.
Centre wing bounce. Whoops, Steins has to readdress himself there as he runs too far under it. And another bounce to take place.
About a minute and a half to the half-time siren. 6-6 to 3-5. 42 plays 23 in favour of Melbourne. Great battle between these two Brownlow medalists in the ruck. Steins and Wind. Kellett not getting very far as Polly applies a tackle. Plenty of fire in the game early. It's still there. The umpires have been right on the spot, and free kicks have stopped a lot of that behind play, especially. Kellett again from Wind's tap. Has to go out wide. It's a foot race. Glenn Lovett's nearly got Smith, and that's not bad in itself. O'Brien couldn't do much with it. It's out of bounds. Pretty well on centre wing on the outer side. As the clock ticks down to half-time. Steins gets front position this time. Kellett can't come up with it. It's a scramble. And the umpire's given a free kick. Well, that'll get it out of there. It's going to Hunter. Mark Hunter at right centre wing. Hargraves is the target, and he doesn't let him down. Good mark in front of Nettlebeck, but too far out to score. Kick and a half from goal, you'd reckon there. And he wants to get it quickly. He doesn't know, but there's only a few seconds to the siren. They need a mark here, the Bulldogs. They're not going to get one. Kick away by Collingwood. Smith, yes. Mark or free kick, neither. And out of bounds. And Rowan Smith looking at the umpire, but nothing coming from it. And with only a few seconds remaining, there probably won't be any more scoring before the half-time siren. Wine, Steins again. Steins looks for the free kick. There's none there. Bowload back to Hargraves. You need to kick it quickly. He does. It's on its way. But Obst in front of goal stops the attack. A good quarter by Melbourne. Footscray led at quarter time 3-1 to 2-4. So it was a 3-point margin to the Bulldogs. But at the main change, Melbourne, after an excellent second quarter, especially by the man at fullback, Shaun Smith, leading 6-6-42 to 3-5-23. So a goalless quarter by Footscray, managing just 4 behinds, and maybe because of that, Alan Jakovic was dragged by Terry Wallace during the quarter. He got 1 goal in the first term, which was a beauty, but they weren't able to build on that. And so Melbourne with a handy lead, certainly not a match-winning one, at half-time of 19 points. So the scores at the main change. Melbourne 6-6-42. The supporters are happy. Footscray 3-5-23 at the MCG. Will return in just a moment. The second half at the MCG with Melbourne leading by 19 points. The Doggies kicked the first 3, Melbourne the next 6, so Footscray need one quickly. Kellett runs into Tingay, but too high, says umpire John Harvey. And the 2 number 4s. Obst trying to get him to reverse the free kick, but he's not going to do that. Straight down the centre of the ground. Lovett was there, got underneath the footy, couldn't bring it down. Hargraves a little bit too slow, ball jarred free in the tackle. Tingay, and again Melbourne, as they've done so often today, are going to run the ball out of defence. Nettlebeck, a little bit of a box on behind play, and the umpire has decided to let it go. And still those 2 players, one of them is Tingay and the other one is his opposite, number 2, and that's Steve Collingwood. And let's get back to the footy. Well, it's 15 metres out from goal. Smith chops it off nicely for Footscray. He'll give a short pass to Hunter. Hunter right on the boundary line. Started on the bench today for Footscray. Kicks up towards centre wing. Ramiro gives it back to Liberatore. Libba down to right half forward. And one of the protagonists there has taken the mark. Steve Collingwood. As I said, he and Tingay having a nice little bit of a dish up. Let's see if he can capitalise here for Footscray. Fair way out. They haven't kicked a goal since the first quarter, the early part thereof. He's hooked it. Well, that is a mark to Grant.
Well, a few positional changes. We just saw Grant taking the mark, started down on the back line. Luke Darcy's gone into the ruck. Obviously, Footscray a bit worried about Steins' mobility. And Grant down there, we've got no doubt about his ability. Obviously being picked up by Nettlebeck.
At both ends of the ground too, Don. Played a lot in defence this year, but they would really love to have him on the forward line, and he's taken the mark. Can he kick Footscray's 4th goal? 15 metres out. Grant kicks, and he goals.
Well, he was a good player in the first half. Chris Grant playing at centre-half back. Changes being made everywhere with Jason Watts, who has kicked goals for Footscray at the full forward position. Jakovic started there. Just waiting for the ball to come back. It went through the crowd, or into the crowd. Oh, and Nettlebeck once again getting some good shots today.
That's a scary off tactic, that one.
Margin 13 points. So the Doggies needed that one at the start of this 3rd quarter. Darcy goes high. Stein stands his ground. Obst in underneath. Here's Darcy again. Tapped on by Turley. Wirra gives it off to Wallace. Kicks out wide. The kick had to be good, and it was. Dimatina.
He's done all right on half-back, Dimatina.
Gives it off to Hunter. It comes back into centre-half forward. Nettlebeck and Grant. Grant punches from behind. Colonyuk can't quite get hold of the footy. Under pressure. Now's got it. Back to Dimatina. Kicks back inside. Seacamp holds him up at centre-half back. Plays on quickly to Nettlebeck. He has Lovett wide. Ball comes out to that player. Has to wait. Goes to the kick towards Tingo. It gets to him eventually on about 3 bounces. Players break forward for him. Good kick from Tingo. Polly just can't quite get there, and Smith puts him and the ball over the line. Boundary throw in just outside 50 metres. Melbourne into attack. And we'd really like to answer that Footscray goal from Chris Grant. Tingay caught. Farmer. Now Turley hooks the ball back in the front of the square, but the first one to read it was Hunter, and the Bulldogs share it to Liberatory.
Libba's kick short to Wallace. The veteran of the side. Wallace down towards half forward. Grant the target. He's giving them something down there, which is what Terry Wallace wanted. He certainly swung the moves around, not frightened to make them. MCG, of course, the scene of some of his greatest triumphs. 3 premiership sides with Hawthorn. Tingay chops this one off again. Watts comes at him. That's a real grubber. A Trevor Chappell job, that one. Is that deliberate? No, sir. 6-6 to 4-5. 42 to 29. So a pretty good contest here at the MCG. Melbourne getting 6 unanswered goals in the second term, or indeed the latter part of the first term as well.
Well done once again. Who's that umpire? He's doing a good job at these boundary throw-ins.
Stein.
It's Rowan Sawyers. Well done, Rowan.
With the free kick to Hopgood. Hopgood kicks up towards Southern, who couldn't take the mark. Farmer to Clarkson was good handball. Long bomb down to Neitz. Oh, he's marking everything except the grandstand roof today.
So that was another excellent mark from Neitz. Pretty hook the man.
A real finger tipper, literally. Look at this.
But the beauty was he worked himself in front.
He's kicked 3 goals, 2 so far. Top form last week at Footy Park, again today at the MCG. Player on the mark, threw his mouth guard up in the air to try to put him off. It didn't work. That was pretty hook.
Malcolm, can we get a little bit heavy into football for a moment? He's got a beautiful kicking style.
A good leg, Malcolm? Is that what you're going to say?
Long leg.
Long leg. No, it's a most relaxed style, isn't it? I think he really does take a long run up and gets nice and balanced.
Yeah, nice and balanced, but also the execution. It's a nice taut instep, and he just kicks through the ball. It's just a beautiful style. There's not much margin for error.
No, very handy goal too to the Demons. And there's a whistle. So it's going to Steins. Hopgood makes the run in for him. Now comes back in the middle. Now he's in trouble. Has to go back to Obst. Turley runs through the middle also. Back in the Neitz direction. Pushed out of it by Crediop. That's pretty good. Crowd not happy, but it's just a slight nudge west towards the wing and Dimatina. Loves to run. Has his one bounce. Now comes directly across. Well, they need to get this, the doggies, because it's going to open them up if they don't. It'll go straight back, and that's what's happened. Danger time when you come and player's not free. Neitz again. Too good.
And he was being held on to, and the umpire saw it. Good umpiring.
Short to Clarkson. It's on. Oh, he misses. Southern reads it. That's good stuff. He's better at centre-half back, this lad. Had a good year before last playing centre-half backs. Had some injuries, and we'll give him some run and some dash. Kick is pushed as he kicked it. Falls in the centre-half forward. Colonyuk there. Seacamp just gets it and throws it on the boot. Back to Southern. So Danny Southern getting some possessions around the middle of the ground.
I think being appreciated, moved away from David Neitz. Hargraves in front, Smith behind. Smith takes the hand pass from Hopgood. Obst. Glenn Lovett, shepherded by Cowell, was effective. Gives him a chance to steady. He needed it. Kick to half forward Neitz. Oh, he missed it. Call a press conference. So Footscray will get out of danger this time through Crediop onto Wallace. Wallace from right centre wing. Turley chopped it off in front of Grant, who applies a tackle. Was that too high against Liberatore?
He's doing nothing wrong.
Umpire Rowan Shaw says let wiser heads prevail. Nettlebeck at left half back takes the mark and runs. Time to have a bounce. Doesn't bounce too high for him. Kicks to space at half forward. Marking contest there. Darcy farms it out. He's opposite number 14 as Polly. Onto Clarkson. Clarkson loves a goal. A snap won't quite get there. Melbourne with the number. Oh, he got poleaxed. Neitz. Might be 50 metres. But I'd ask you, why not?
Yes, I'd ask the question too, Peter. We may get it on replay of how he was dealt with.
It was pretty
here
late.
it is there. He's taken the mark. Bang.
Malcolm?
Looked at Peter, I'd have to agree.
It was pretty late. 4 goals to David Neitz has kicked out of Melbourne's tally of 7-6.
And this is not an easy kick.
He really has given them a focal point on the forward line. $20 goals before today, so 24 for the season now. This could be 25. And is.
Actually, I gave him a rap earlier for his kicking, but that shot, it was rather awkward in his kicking style on that occasion. Different to his other kicks when he was a little way out from distance. And here's the build-up once again, and we'll just watch here as he gets crunched. David Neitz, eyes for the ball, mark, and then Dimatina, bang. That could have been a bad one.
Yes, you wonder sometimes who makes the game of football. Those blokes in the middle or the blokes that can catch it up forward. And I know which way you'd go, Don.
You tell me.
It's such a web, isn't it, of intrigue, a game of football. All those little bits and pieces you need to make it put together. Obst throws it on his boot. Farmer's in front. That's good. It's good. We like to see players in those 50-50s be in front. Hotgood provides the run. Oh, it's going to go out to Neitz. He doesn't hit it right, though. Giving Neitz a very tall order. It's his day, though. Bounce to him. Under pressure. O'Brien. Big. Falls to Farmer. Snapshot for goal. Ingerson. One-on-one there with Southern. Oh, Southern, that's good. That's a free kick.
Might have been a bit of revenge sort there.
Well, Southern wasn't the man.
No,
was it?
Southern wasn't the player, but he's got the same colour jumper.
Well, actually, we were taught that as youngsters. Don't go back and remonstrate. Pass it on.
He's hurt too, Danny. Dipper will keep her eye on him. Smith. Phoebe and Dimatina. Doesn't bounce too kindly for either of them. O'Brien. Oh, beautifully done. That was pinpoint accuracy to Ingerson. All he had to do was stand there, and looking back through the glasses, Danny Southern still in the hands of the trainers.
It's going to be interesting, Pete, to see whether Ingerson makes the distance. There's Danny. It's not too good. He's a tough individual. But Ingerson really hasn't got a penetrating kick. He's a left footer.
Had a kick for goal earlier in the first quarter, which wasn't good. That's much better. That's much better from Ingerson. It's a goal. His first, he's kicked 1-1. And the difference now 60 to 29, so 31 points as Danny Southern limps off. And we'll try to get some information from Dipper on that.
Let's hope it's not a knee.
Might be a corky.
Oh, I mean, of corkies, you stay on the ground unless your leg blows up.
Oh, they only do that at Hawthorn, Don, don't they?
Back in your dreams again, Don. Margin at the 31 points. It is danger now for Footscray. Obst cleverly taps it off to Lovett. Just laid it off for him to Clarkson.
Oh, that's a free kick.
And a free kick, you're quite right, Don, going to Gredial.
Wearing Terry Weller's old number, 35.
Comes wide to Scott. West. Run provided from the back. Kicking not as good. And, gee, there's a pack of demons. Turley. There's a bit of time now and really doesn't hit the ball right. Probably gets a hand on it. Lovett only gets some of the footy. Kicks it quickly forward. Gredial reads it pretty well. Neitz comes in to provide a contest. We're in underneath it. Farmer out the back. If he gets out, he's away. He is away. Kicks the ball on the ground, rolls, and has kicked a goal. Terrific goal from Farmer.
Well, I've been very impressed with young Jeff Farmer. He's very, very quick. He's got a good football brain. He's got a little bit of aggro in him as well. A little bit of fire. He's only a youngster. And here he is. There's the tackle. He pulls the ball out, gets done. He gets up again once again and then dribbles it through. And just sneaks it in. But they all count.
Farmer's first goal. They've broken it wide open now, the D's, in this third quarter. Footscray got the first goal, but it's been one-way traffic ever since. They might get some more. Glenn Lovett. Or Brett Lovett. To half forward. Good tackle by Smith. Farmer again, the chance. He missed it that time. Ingerson applies a tackle. Right in front of the Melbourne members. And it's going to be a ball up.
So just watching young Farmer then, Donald. He's quick, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, exceptional.
He's lightning over the ground.
So the Bulldogs really need a couple of quick goals to stay in contention here. Steins down to Liberatore. Two Brownlow medalists figuring in the action. Now it's Quill taking the hand pass from Johnson. On it goes to Darcy. This is Cow. Cow up towards Farmer again. O'Brien. On to Lovett. Brett Lovett, outside 50, long bomb to Glenn Lovett perhaps. Couldn't complete the mark.
Oh,
it's a goal. He's got it! All clear, yes, full points. The D's on fire.
Well, there's a little bit of luck. Then you need a bit of luck in football. And there's Glenn Lovett. An Australian All-Teal Cupper a few years ago. Damien Moncur, Steve Lawrence, one or two others. Had an exceptional year a couple of years ago, Glenn Lovett. Just really hasn't quite discovered that form he showed, but still a very useful player.
I'd have to have a guess and say it's probably 5 goals in 9 or so minutes. Been scintillating stuff from the Demons after Footscray got the first goal this quarter.
Well, they had a run of 6 before, didn't they? And they're on another one here. Down to Dipper.
We won't see Danny Sutherland again today. Looks like he might have broken his leg there, boys.
Oh, gee.
We don't know as yet, but it looks pretty bad at the moment.
He's pretty tough, isn't he, Bertie? He's still hobbled on.
Yeah, that is sad.
Broke his leg.
Lovett to Phoebe. Kicks the ball back. Steins can't get hold of it. Ramiro inside to Johnson. Caught by Steins. Great work by the big fella. To Quill. In the direction of Hargraves, drops it off his chest. Really now happening, or not happening, I should say, for the Bulldogs. Oh, enormous pressure there. Lovett really has been in underneath a lot.
Some players just have wretched runs with injury, and Danny Sutherland, who showed a lot and also promised a lot in his showing, just has not had a fair go. Injury has really crippled his career.
Umpire John Harvey just sorting out the traffic here. Just in the centre square area, just 10 metres off the circle. Puts it down on a nice firm bit. To Kellett. Stands and kicks. In front, Seacamp can't get hold of it. Nettlebeck mops it up to Turley. Clarkson has a bit of time and space, goes to the big fella in Steins. Jimmy just wants to hold this up for a while. Players covered running by, and we'll now look at the opportunity.
Of course, Wine not on the ground, and you wonder at that, unless he's injured.
No, Pete, I don't think he's got the mobility to go with Steins.
Well, interesting one, Don, but Steins is having a field day at the moment. So too Melbourne. Neitz, well, he missed a mark. Obst, hand pass. Lovett from Clarkson. Oh, 2 there, they can raffle it. Neitz and Farmer. So Neitz will line up for number 6.
But also, I'm interested in the way Glenn Lovett delivers a ball. He was the one getting it down. Lovett can deliver the ball. He's not over endowed with speed, but he gets the ball very quickly to his boot. Look at that, just 1-2 step bang.
And if he kicks this, Melbourne will have kicked 12 of the last 13 goals in this match. And there's Wine about to come back. Got a huge lead now For goal number 6, Neitz kicks. Neitz goals. 6 goals, 2 he's kicked.
3 in this quarter, David Neitz, but that was set up by Brett Lovett. And they seem to do it with will at the moment, Melbourne. And the break just too far for Footscray. And we've still got 5-6 minutes left in this, the third quarter.
It's amazing, Don, isn't it, when you've got a good player and heading towards a very good player, David Neitz. Just struggled a bit at centre-half forward, and the move to full forward where the ball's actually funneled to him. You don't get as many ruckmen dropping back on him.
Well, they're moving the ball pretty quick, aren't they? And with only really one ruckman, it's hard for him to get back down.
Just under 7 minutes. So Wine back on the ground.
Steins has got confidence too.
Yes, Lovett. Some of their senior players really listening. Obst has been good. Lovett's lifted. Both the Lovetts, in fact.
Confidence is a wonderful thing, Malcolm, isn't it?
Yes, I think the first thing the first 2 things you'd buy at a footy club are spirit, and then you'd buy confidence. Which order would you buy them in, Don?
Spirit.
Yes.
So far in front of confidence. Confidence is a thing that you can break down.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gee, you sick.
Clarkson kicks it somewhere near Neitz.
Oh,
well. It bounced in his hand, almost had an airy, but Footscray run it out to Wallace. Farmer, here he comes. He's quick. Gives it to Ramiro. So Jose Ramiro now under extreme pressure. Terrific kick over the back to Libba. He was so small, he hit between the grass, little grass seeds there, Don, and snuck in behind all those Melbourne players. Back into the middle to Luke Darcy.
what was that movie? I Shrunk the Kids. You reckon he'd get a part in that without too many problems? Hargraves. Nearly caught, did well. The mark taken by Konyuk. Lead is on. It's about as far as it's going because Viney takes it in front of Curley. Haven't seen too much of Viney today. Started on the bench. Waited Turley. And O'Brien, who kicked a goal today with his first kick as soon as he came out of the ground. Great vision for Steins.
Wine just can't keep up.
Steins at midfield. Oh, he's taking a divot like some of my golf shots. Farmer, Lovett. The two Lovetts combining. Glenn might be able to kick the goal.
Oh, that's excellent if he has.
One behind, I think. Yes. So 1 goal, 1 in this quarter to Glenn Lovett. Nice little assist there from his namesake in Brett. 12-7 to 4-5. And the difference, can you believe it, out to 50 points. So Footscray kicked the first 3 goals of the game. They're now 4-5. Melbourne 12-7. An amazing transformation since halfway through the first quarter.
Amazingly, that's their first point of the quarter after 6 straight. West, Steins.
It's not good, is it?
Oh, loose players everywhere. Obst. You'll want to set up Neitz. Why wouldn't you? We were over the top will be the danger. Falls over the back to Farmer and Crediok. Great one-on-one tussle there. Neitz caught.
Farmer just hung on for a little bit too long. He really didn't have to hang on to Crediok as long as what he did. But it's good to see him with a little bit of spirit, a little bit of enthusiasm, passion.
Crediok. Once again, Steins and Wine goes over the back. Wallace having trouble picking it up. Neitz, it's actually just lost him there for a moment.
Tingay got him.
Yeah, Tingay actually didn't grab him early, just dwelled on him. Was good. Down to Watts. Smith hasn't had much of the ball this quarter, but what he's done exactly like that. Very defensive. Been a very good player. Boundary throwing, just 15 or 20 metres around from Footscray's goal. And sadly, for the last 15 or minutes, has been rarely there. Great tap over the back. Watts. Smith's right there. Nettlebeck really did just burst through. Made a mockery of all the players around him. To Viney, to Lovett. Gee, they're running hot at the moment. Seacamp, always a bit indecisive with the footy. Out to Viney. That's great. To Farmer. Just kick it somewhere near the number 9 would be my suggestion. Or go to Ingerson. Now go to number 9. Kicks to the front of the square.
Grant's down there now.
Wine, hands and knees. Grediok, and gives it to West.
Scotty West. Onto Dimatina. Back to West. Dimatina provides the shepherd. Looks for Darcy. He gave Nettlebeck one to go onwards, and he'll get a free kicker as a result of that. Sort of a slap. Turley. Steins on his own, and oh, marks 50.
That was a soft 50. Didn't really hit him hard. Come on, Umpy.
Doesn't have to be soft if it's late.
No, and you've done a good job today, but he really did con you on that occasion. Jimmy Steins, he's up.
Well, he just stood there.
Oh, it's not a hard one. Gee.
What did you think, Mel?
Well, I figure there's got to be a time limit in footy, and I reckon half an hour's enough, Don.
Half an hour of what? What, two? What
Oh, it's half an hour late. Come on.
Yeah, but if you're going to do it, might as well do it properly. Put him into the ground so he doesn't get up.
It's not the spirit of the law. So Jim Steins kicks at goal, and I don't think so. One behind. Kicked by the Melbourne Brownlow medalist, his first score this afternoon. 80-29, 12-8-4-5.
Coming back on is Brad Johnson. He went off for Wine. Wine's on the ball, as we know, and now Darcy's at centre half forward. Wirra with the ball.
He'll kick it in again, as he has done most of the afternoon. To the outer side. Steins again, after Wallace was shepherded away from the contest. Obst is calling for it. He's going to go a little bit longer. Neitz, a big fly. Farmer and Wirra. Wirra's got the footy. No one to give it to. Farmer shepherded off the ball and behind the play rather vigorously. Wirra, still he goes. Looks for Ramiro. Finds him right on his own defensive 50-metre line. The former North player. Kicks it back to another one. In Liberatore. Morris Gardner and Brownlow medalist. Kellett will mark at half-back. Now Footscray really struggling to get it across the centre. Oh, he's run a country mile. So the ball will come back yet again. So
I wonder if he did run that far too. And you've got to take into account there was a man on the mark, so he's really, the offence started from the man on the mark. I don't think he ran too far.
Well, the umpire didn't. That's all that counts. Chopped off by Smith.
That's a very good technical get, Don.
Oh, I'm being influenced, Malcolm. I'm getting a little heavy. I'm starting to use my brain laterally.
Kellett takes the mark. Well, that's encouraging.
He's still driven. Contest, almost the mark pulled in. Obst. Just thinking about this ground, middle of July virtually, after that rain we've had. Terrific mark and leak there by Smith. What great condition it is since all that drainage has been done. It's just fantastic. On a beautiful winter's day here in Melbourne. Smith, that's the mark we've been waiting for all day for him. It just bounced off his chest. Back in the Lovett direction, keeps his feet well and finally out of bounds. Don, I've just had a thought. Melbourne was struggling. They've had Neitz as his centre-half back, centre-half forward. Finally make the decision to put him at full forward. Yeah, perhaps you might think about Grant with that, to make a real focal point, if at least can score with Grant playing at full forward.
Well, they've got Nettlebeck who's filling in at centre-half back. Also, the move of Smith down there has allowed Neitz to go there. I don't think Footscray have got that flexibility or the players to be able to do that type of thing.
Well, I mean, you've got Hargraves playing centre-half forward.
He's not good. Yeah, but he's not good enough. Like,
yeah, but he's doing what Ingerson's doing.
Who?
Hargraves.
No, Darcy's centre-half forward.
Well, yeah, but it has been for most of the game.
Who?
Hargraves.
Oh, no, he's been in the pocket.
Don, okay.
This is like who's on first and what's on second. Thank you, gentlemen.
But I mean, to turn the question around, I'll answer it again. Perhaps Grant, perhaps Grant playing there instead of Neitz, like Neitz is at the other end. Make a focal point at full forward.
Right, we'll get a comment from you later, Don. You'll think about that one. So the D's again run it out as the clock ticks down to three-quarter time. Can they get a goal? They can't, as Lovett takes a ping from centre wing. And a little bit of aggro. Steins is there, Wallace. Wiser heads. And Steve McBurney comes in to have a few words to Dimatina. I don't think the books came out, but they might have had it continued. Let's just stay with these because there's a few words being exchanged there as they go to their respective huddles. A great quarter by Melbourne. And the umpire and Jimmy Steins, well, getting on famously there, as you would expect a Brownlow medalist would with the men in white. Neil Baum would be more than happy So Footscray getting the first 3 goals of the match. They've only got one since, and since then Melbourne has piled on 12. So at the final change, Melbourne leading 12-8-80. Footscray 4-5-29. The final quarter from the MCG, the difference is 51 points in favour of the Demons, who have been right on top since midway through the first quarter when Footscray got the first 3. Steins to Obst. Viney trying to run himself back into a little bit of form. Tingay is in good form. Hopgood, hand pass a little bit too severe for him. Good tackle by Dimatina. Viney comes in likewise. It's flipped out wide to Nettlebeck. Doesn't get the best of bounces. Gets it back to Turley. A long hand pass and away they come again. Nettlebeck from Clarkson. Good tackle by Smith. Hopgood a little give. Tingay to Nettlebeck. And the mark is taken by Lovett. The 2 Lovetts combining. Glenn. Can he kick a goal? West comes at him. Won't quite make the distance. And a good mark is taken in front by Steve Credior.
Grant at centre half. There he is there. He's at centre half back now on Ingerson.
They'd like to have about 18 Chris Grants, wouldn't they? Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. Trying to play him at both ends of the ground. Miro down the centre wing position. Turley grabbed by Johnson. Still he goes. Ramiro likewise looks for a hand pass over the head of his opponent who came at him. And Footscray must get a little bit of spirit going. Wallace, former captain, led the side in '89. Down to Kellett and Cowell. And here he is. They love this man at the MCG. Smith. He's been starring today as he was last week. Wallace back to Darcy. Darcy's left-footed down to half forward.
Yeah, sitting camped underneath the ball is Johnson. Takes it now, hits the ground running. Just sprint kick back to the front of the goal square. Eludes Seacamp and Hargraves. Has enough poise, but always wants to seem to handball.
Yeah, why would he do that there?
Smith misses. One of his rare mistakes today, but there's enough Melbourne players there to really get out of this. Hopgood to Nettlebeck, caught, and gives the footy up. Back to Liberatore. Smith closing on Jakovic, no. Doesn't get there, so Alan Jakovic, as Don's mentioned, on the ground at full forward. And really, it's an amazing game. Footy's got a great way of squaring up. It was Smith's kick originally, an easy one that missed, and his man ends up with the ball a few possessions later. Kicks, that's a glorious kick.
That is a beautiful
That is
kick.
his second goal, no, touched on the line. So that's bad luck for Jakovic. He really does need a bit of a lift in confidence, as do most of Footscray.
1 goal, 2 to Alan Jakovic. His first goal was a ripper down the other end over his left shoulder.
Yes, he opened with a good mark too down there, which wasn't a goal. Glenn Lovett gives it off again, and as they have done so often, Melbourne, they're run out of defence today, a bit like the Fremantle Dockers almost. Comes up to centre wing, Tingay. He had a good match last week. He's done some useful things this afternoon as well. That's over the head of Ingerson. The seagull scatter, and it's out of bounds. Former Adelaide Crow, Anthony Ingerson, played 37 games with Adelaide. Had injury problems himself this year. He'll contest the throw-in, it looks like, with Grant. Over the top, Obst. Farmer went without the footy. Still he goes, though. Little kick comes up towards full forward. Bounce is going to be a factor. Wallace does well to break down that attack. Up towards midfield. Kellett. Awkward half volley. Snares it nicely. Around Viney. Plenty of time to steady and kick down in the Jakovic direction. Jakovic at the back. Had it, lost it, dropped it. Nettlebeck applies a tackle. Jakovic out the front. Tries the hand pass. Turley's there. A little gift to Jim Steins. And they come away again. O'Brien's kick. Down to Clarkson. Clarkson at right centre wing. The former North Rover, plenty of spirit from him today. Neitz gave his opponent a decent old shove. The umpire says, OK, boys, play on. And they do. Wirra gives it to Smith. Smith up towards Curley. Curley back to Smith. And Jim Stein won't catch him.
Great kick from Smith out in the Hargraves direction. Obst reads it well, as he's done most of the day, to O'Brien. This Lovett has enough time to go back. And Obst finally gets to Lovett. So 3 possessions later, what they tried to do first now pays off. Neitz, Credior pushing. Farmer, clever, but kicked in motion of a ball falling across his boot and through for a behind.
And what you really meant to say there, Malcolm, was he kicked it badly.
Yes. But the ball fell as he actually kicked it. He didn't quite kick it that quickly. Wira breaks away.
Wira's kick, Obst off his hands, or fist if you like. Ingerson to Steins, to Turley. Now Phoebe from Viney. Over the head of Neitz this time. Krediok will get back there and takes it over the boundary line.
But just watching Neitz lead, he tends to go a bit wide. I think a good player like him only needs to stay on the 45-degree angle from goal. It's actually just not quite know when to lead. But he's been such a great touch.
Certainly in the last 2 weeks. Grant and Ingerson. Ingerson, Phoebe. Wira taken down by Ingerson. Farmer falls on top of that pair. And umpire John Harvey will bounce it. We've got 15 minutes left in this match. Footscray a chance to get some respectability on their scoreboard, but since midway through the first quarter, Melbourne has really been in command. So Footscray heading for its 14th straight loss here at the MCG. Liberatore. Remember, these two sides only a couple of seasons back played in the finals here. First semi-final it was. Wallace from Ramiro. Punch away by Obst. Oh! He missed him though, Don. West, best and fairest at Footscray last year.
Here it is. You make yourself awkward in football.
And he wasn't there, luckily. Well, that was your forte, Don, I think, wasn't it? Viney, Clarkson, having a great season. Neitz, not this time. Hunter, O'Brien comes at him. Len Lovett keeps it in play, only just. Looks for options. Have a go at the goals, they say, and he does. Only to see Chris Grant take the mark in front of Ingerson right in the last line of defence.
This percentage is important. I mean, Melbourne's around about 70, so they're too far down, but
they'll go up 2 places today, but they're still in a chance of making the 8 if they continue winning.
Yes, they really want to finish this last quarter off when they've got Footscray done, and just starting to waste the ball in their forward line, really not attacking the front of the goals at all. So the ball up between wing and half forward, slightly favouring Melbourne. The margin still 51 points, as it was at 3/4 time. Rowan Smith's been a battler today. Just under 14 minutes to go. Quick kick comes forward. Hotwood caught underneath the football. And another bounce. So right on centre wing this time. And the game really just slackened off in intensity, hasn't it? That bit of needle.
Well, since the third quarter, there's just nothing in it, is there? Footscray just haven't added anything on the board.
And someone once talked about these sorts of games. It's like being at a party, and you really should have a good time while you're there and finish off, get some form up, get some confidence.
You don't think you go home early for parties like this?
No, Don, you're required here. Smith, brilliant all day. Gee, I've enjoyed him the last couple of weeks. Oh, look, Melbourne have run hard from the other side of the ground. The Footscray players haven't. Here's Lovett. Here's Neitz again. Will go wide. So he just needs some practice at leading. I mean, it's good, but really does make it an awkward kick. He is a lovely kick, as Don's mentioned. He likes his smooth flowing run and instep.
Well, you've got me.
I'll try and do it, Peter, for you. As he lines up here, David Neitz, he's got a very deliberate head over the ball. There's a very taut instep. There's not much of a follow through, but everything is just very neat and compact.
Neat for Neitz, and a goal. 7-2 for the afternoon.
Excellent.
Don, your commentary was as poetry as David Neitz's kicking style.
Yeah, poetry in motion, and actually he's a better kick when he's a long way out, because when he had a shot earlier, it was an awkward kicking style from the pocket. And here's the build-up as changes are being made. Hopgood off and Uze back on. We've got Watts coming back on for Footscray.
Well, he's getting himself almost into the record books, because for Melbourne against Footscray, only Norm Smith, Fred Fanning on a couple of occasions, Gary Lyon, Mark Jackson and Kelvin Templeton have kicked more against the Bulldogs. 13-9 to 4-6. 57 points the difference here at the MCG. Bit of a cakewalk. But of course, wind off the ground in the third quarter. This is Tingay when the run came. Neitz has to beat 2. Grant has come down with the football. On to Wirra. To West, back to Wirra, the old 1-2, and straight down the ground. Oh, great mark, Smith. I've said that a few times in calls, but he can take a grab. And he came down the ground today to kick a goal. This time Seacamp onto Viney. As I said, trying to run himself into a little bit of form. This man is Phoebe Ingerson. And the ball just a little bit too quick. It's over the line, right on 50.
This is just an excellent mark from Smith. He used his height, or not his height, his spring in front, and then takes it down.
Love watching him play.
It's amazing, isn't it, when a fellow gets the opportunity, as Smith's getting with Melbourne, Clarkson with Melbourne, they really do start to excel. They just had limited opportunities at North Melbourne.
It's like, what's his name, Baker, in the 78 grand final, I think it was. He took them from everywhere. One of the great exhibitions of marking in our game. It's going back a bit, but I'm sure most people who were at that game would remember it. Tingay's kick, that's a good long roost. Neitz at the back, yes, no! Oh, is that a goal? That'll be goal of the year! What a sensational roost. 63 points the difference.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And that's the only explanation you could give, because he couldn't do this again if he tried.
Eric Cantona would eat your heart out, eh?
Just watch behind. Bang.
Actually did one like that last weekend with 2 swishes at it and got one off the ground.
Yes.
We did that on the Sports World footy panel this morning, and yeah, it's just missed the goal of the day.
Viney off, Lamprell on for Melbourne.
Okay, here we go. Ramiro comes out wide. Through Johnson's leg. Curley kicked it to him. This is O'Brien coming back. Lovely kick. Almost. Ingerson's been the workhorse. He's tried hard. Tried valiantly to mark that. Free kick going against Footscray and Farmer to receive it. And Don, the votes...
Yeah, vote's very easy, Malcolm. They're all going Melbourne's way. And I'll give 3 to Andrew Obst. David Neitz will get 2. And I think Shaun Smith for 1. What do you think?
Well, no, I just wondered. That was all. You could fit Neitz in your votes.
I could, and I think the umpires will go along with what I've said too.
Now, with over 10 minutes to go, what if he kicked another 5 for the quarter? You wouldn't change your mind, or?
No.
Wine to Dimatina. Kellett kicks it out wide. Ramiro goes early, just gets a finger on it, which was good. Then follows up with a soccer off the ground. West caught underneath it with Phoebe. Nettlebeck, hands and knees. Out to Shaun Smith. Flyers wanted here. Not enough to get... Oh, great mark in front by Wine. Great defensive mark. He hasn't taken very many. In fact, that's his first mark for the day. But it was a beauty.
Off to Wirra. Wirra's hand pass. Oh, made a meal of it there. Colin back to Wirra. And in turn over to Smith, whose disposal is usually pretty good. He's kicked to the edge of the square. Not too many options down there for him. Johnson able to trap it well. A little pass into Liberatore, who nearly got cleaned up there. Libber's kick into the goal square. Need a mark here. Seacamp comes at his opponent. Watts goes off the ground, and the umpire says all clear a goal.
Well, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it, before old Footscray. They kicked a goal with Chris Grant early in the third quarter, but every other goal was in the first, except for this one from Watts off the ground. But they've tried valiantly. They're better than what they're showing, Footscray. And as I said in the preview, winning is a habit, and so is losing.
Watts' 29th goal for the year. You sort of wonder if the heavy game last week at the Western Oval, or Whitten Oval as it now is, took anything out of them. The Eagles managed to win yesterday, of course. They played there. Quill, almost a throw. Umpire lets it go. And it will be a bounce again at midfield with 9 minutes to go, just past the halfway mark of the quarter.
Yes, and the real star, David Neitz, with 8 goals. And all the other Melbourne players with singles. So it's been Fantastic effort by Neitz up forward. Steins has worked hard. Farmer liked his game.
Yes,
He's done a couple of undisciplined things, but I mean, he's an enthusiastic kid, has been mentioned. Grant now playing on Neitz. Oh, he does very well. Tries to run it round the boundary line. And I guess the state of the Footscray Football Club, when we talk about him playing full forward, Don, he's now at full back, so he ain't going to kick too many goals there. Ingerson. Once again, clever tap. Clarkson's hung on to. Off the ground by Farmer. Nearly falls to Obst. Wirra with Quill and another boundary throw in. Official attendance today, Don, for your information, 22,852. Which is not bad. Terry Wallace there. Had some joy with a competitive game last week against the Eagles, but certainly not today. Yes, the pleasures of the coaching seat. The up and down. West Court. Butters up again. And then players sit on top and another bounce.
8 minutes remaining in this round 14 match. David Neitz the star with 8 goals. And only a handful of players. Norm Smith, Fred Fanning Trice and Gary Lyon, as I said, have done better against Footscray, wearing a Melbourne jumper. Ramiro from left centre wing. Kick up towards half forward, and Johnson. Still he goes. And that's better. Curley takes the mark. And if you're a coach, you'd say, well, why haven't you been able to do that earlier, boys?
No, it doesn't look good for Kellett back on centre wing. I think he's just flexing his knee. I think he'll continue on in the hands of the trainers. There he is.
Looks a bit proppy, doesn't he?
He's all right.
Southern off the ground. So Curley.
Beautiful kick.
Not a bad sort of a roost. He's got the goal. Terrific kick.
Well, the sting's gone right out of this game, and Melbourne, I suppose you could understand why they're just relaxing a little bit. It's hard to make a team go for 4 quarters. And they're just sitting back in the traces just a little bit, Melbourne. And there's Johnson. Curley. Not too many times has a full forward got away from Smith today. He's had 3 different opponents.
So we go back to the centre. There's 7 minutes left in this match. 42-93 again. 51 points the difference. And that's what it was at 3/4 time. So Footscray at mark time. Wirra kicks towards half forward. Seacamp got a hand to it. Smith on all 4. Still comes up with a footy. Nettlebeck, well done. He's been solid in defence this afternoon. The kick out wide. Well, that's okay. Uze. He'll get it back from Phoebe. A fumble. Steins gives it back to him. It's a bit of beach volleyball almost down there. Hunter. Good hand pass. Ramiro, centering kick to Liberatore at left half forward. Libber's kick. Back to Ramiro. 2 former North players combining. Into the pocket. And that will be a mark to Darcy. But on the acutest of angles, he'll just about be in the crowd when he kicks this. So he'll need to run around. Not much daylight between the posts. So little it could almost get stuck there.
Oh, beautiful.
He's tried to banana it, and he has. Oh, he's kicked it. What a roost. Great goal.
That was unbelievable. That was excellent play. So confident, so nonchalant. Well done, Luke Darcy.
14-9-7-6.
The beauty here is the kick from Darcy, not the play. Takes it. And look at this. What a shot from the cameraman. Terrific. Oh, that was excellent. Players amaze me now what they can do with the ball.
Since that amazing goal from David Neitz, the Bulldogs, I think, have kicked the last 3. So they got another one out the centre for Quill. Quill goes from 55 metres, and there's another one.
Well, they're adding a little bit of respectability. That's their 4th goal. Straight out of the centre. It was just like a training run. And I suppose the Footscray fans, the diehards, can say, well, why couldn't we do this earlier? And here it is, the break. And there's Quill from well outside the 50.
That's gone every bit of 80 metres. Well done. Represented the state, Western Australia this year, Quill.
Quill, the 8th goal kicker for Footscray. All individuals. Steins and Wind again. Wind off the ground in the 3rd quarter, and I'll mention it once more. That's when Melbourne got their big run on.
Well, they did kick the first goal, Peter.
Oh, sorry.
And they got there within 13 points, I suppose. That's what happened.
Well, up from the back line, and taking the kick as Marcus Seacamp. Grant. Neitz after him. Turley sees it out of bounds. Good tackle there by Steve Kokonyuk. Right on 50. We'll see a throw in the last 5 minutes of the match. So Footscray adding some respectability to their score, as was asked for them by Terry Wallace at 3/4 time. Wind, Lovett comes at him. Libba, hand pass under pressure to Romero. Didn't really find its target, and again out of bounds. So there's something to work on there for Melbourne. They've been able to turn it around in the last month after a very bleak start to the centenary season. Kokonyuk again. Geez, almost like a rugby scrum there. And another ball up to follow. We were talking about the ground, and I was watching a little bit of the Wallabies match yesterday over in Wellington, and played in absolutely atrocious conditions, and it does say volumes for this ground with all the play it does get. West off the ground. Romero gets cannoned into, arguably a bit too high. Umpire did blow the whistle. The advantage is paid, and Footscray come away with it. Now can he kick it long again? Quill. This time a low trajectory pass. On the end of it is Jakovic marking in front of Smith. Kicked just the 1 goal, Jakovic. Started well, was taken off the ground by Terry Wallace in the 2nd quarter from memory. But he does give them something, I think, if they can get the ball down there. He kicks long.
That kick.
And over the head of Watts.
Possesses some skill, doesn't he?
For 1 behind. So 1 goal, 3 to Jakovic. That was a decent old kick. 14-9 to 8-7.
Amazes me why more players don't use a torpedo punt.
Cow to bring it back in. Oh, it doesn't quite hit it right. Lamprell finally picks it out of his back pocket and then goes to Clarkson. They've done this pretty well today, Melbourne. Got it away from those points to Ingerson. Always contesting, and Smith with him. It's a sad case of Footscray, really. After 2 years in the finals, 3 out of 4 years, to only be at 2.5 wins, you know, less than 6 months later, it's a terrible state. I know they had some injuries, but gee, they haven't reacted very well at all. Wirra. Middlebeck's right with Darcy there, over their heads. Oh, terrific sharing. Now Romero, can he get through? Yes, he can. He wants some help now. Great smother by Uze, or O'Brien, was it? Obst, clever, cool. Just kicks it and kicks it out to the wing. Players come to meet its farmer. He's got a bit of time here. Smith doing some great shepherding. Back to O'Brien. Now Nettlebeck. He wants to go long. Where's Neitz? Hadn't been at the ball for a while. Pushing, shoving. Does well, Grant. Keeps in front of him. That's pretty good stuff. And then the Melbourne forward line hold it up. So a bounce to take place about 40 metres from Melbourne's goal. Just the 1 mark for the big fella. Ingerson does well again. Liberatore reads it well. Comes out to Wallace. Plays it back to himself. Now spins round and kicks it straight back to where O'Brien gathers. Goes long. Ingerson with the sit here. Surely, yes. Good mark. Anthony Ingerson could become the only other Melbourne player to kick more than a 1 goal, Don. Name the other player.
Bit too tough.
Anthony Ingerson. Terry Wallace looks on and just trying a few things in this last quarter. They've been a bit lively since the game has died off. Ingerson just pushes it to the left, and only a point results.
1 goal, 2 he's kicked. 14-10 to 8-7. So Footscray competitive in 2 quarters, the first and the fourth. In the middle, of course, they got a bit of a whipping. No, Wirra again kicks in wide. Oops, careful, boys. To Hunter. Hunter at centre half back now. In the last few minutes of the game, Watts couldn't take it. Hargraves went to the left, now gets onto the right. A couple of targets there, Djakovic or Curley. It's the latter with the mark. And Todd Curley, who has kicked a goal. We saw Ken kick long, so this distance shouldn't present too many problems to him. The first Footscray player possibly to kick 2 today. And that looks pretty good. He's got it. Second goal to Todd Curley, Footscray's 9th, and the difference down to 33 points.
Well, both his goals in the last quarter, Curley. Just showing a bit of speed, wasn't he, Curley, getting away? Hargraves, he has got some ability, Hargraves, started particularly well.
"19 career goals for Todd Curley in 17 matches. So 1 minute left in this contest. Steins has rucked tirelessly all day. It's the hand pass down to O'Brien. Neitz with Grant. Smith is there. Looks for a hand pass, gets it back to Grant. That was good. Grant along the boundary line towards Johnson. Johnson couldn't take it. Darcy gives him good support. Had it, dropped it, lost it. Nettelbeck flips it up for his teammate Cowell. Down towards Ingerson, who was outmarked by Smith. And Footscray going to run it out through Wallace. Marking contest up at centre wing, or centre field. Cowell again. Well, that wasn't his target. Dimatina chopped it off in front of Lovett.
Goes out wide, and Watts runs onto it. Just outside 50, wants to get on with it. Last few seconds of the game. Johnson stands his ground and takes a very good mark.
These scores are really not an indication of Melbourne's dominance today. Footscray have added respectability in the last quarter. They're only some 30-odd points behind. There'll be less after this kick, I believe, from Johnson. It's not a difficult angle, directly in front.
It's cramped up, I think. Whether he can take the kick, it looks as though he's going to. So Brad Johnson, a chance for Footscray's 10th, which will certainly make their score look a lot better. There's the siren. He kicks right on it. Goal umpire hasn't moved. I think it's through. It is. So Brad Johnson joins the Footscray list of goal kickers, but it was too little too late for the Bullies in the last quarter. They did come back. They finished up with 6 goals, certainly their most productive quarter of the match. And it was Melbourne. A very happy Neil Baum comes down looking at the scoreboard, which reads 14-10-94, defeating Footscray 10-7-67.